Students, this is the Alphabet and Grammar of Geometry, Unit 1, Lesson 1.3, Geometry Grammar, Part 1, Conditional Statements. Don't forget the date, time, location, and a parent or guardian sign off. Taking a look at this page, this is a review from the prior material. Do the best you can, work through this page, get out a red pen, and then restart. Welcome back, students. Hopefully you actually did the work yourself. Let's take a look here. All right. We should have always circle and distribute. Double negative makes a positive. So in this case, you should have gotten n equals 14. Taking a look here, again, reading with three body parts 3 times. You should have had a line K, so 2 arrows. Doesn't matter which end the K goes on as long as it's cursive lowercase. Intersecting a line B, or AB, excuse me, so those are capital letters because they are actual points. Doesn't matter which way that tilts. At a point R, draw a ray intersecting. Now this one was tricky because it says QR. That means Q, okay, is the end point and R is the arrow point. So for this, that means your arrow point has to go through R, not starting at R. Q is the end point. That's very critical. Could have gone that way, or changing another direction is perfectly fine. You could have gone through this way, but either way, Q is the end point. All right, today, so that was our alphabet, and after you learn an alphabet, you generally learn grammar, how words are put together to form sentences. And the grammar of geometry are what are called logic rules. The first one we're going to learn is something called conditional statements. Your vocabulary for today is the word conditional, converse, inverse, contrapositive, hypothesis, conclusion. Your first vocabulary word. A conditional statement is an if-then statement. It implies cause and effect. All commercials and entertainment pitches are conditional statements. They're implying that if you buy this or watch this or do this, then something's going to happen. Here's a very simple marketing ad. Just take a look at it. Kind of just notice all the details. So this ad, although it doesn't have the words if then, that's important you understand the words if then can be implied. But this advertisement is communicating an if then statement. It's saying if you shop This is what this advertisement is implying, is if you shop at Walmart, then you will save money and thus live better. That's what this advertisement. So this advertisement is a conditional statement. In this conditional statement, you have a cause and an effect. The cause is essentially saying shop at Walmart. The effect of shopping at Walmart is that you will save money and live better. Cause and effect. Cause and effect. Those are the essential ingredients of a conditional statement. Cause and effect. There are fancy names for what we call cause and effect. The cause of something in the statements we're going to look at are called the hypothesis. And the effect is called the conclusion. Hypothesis and conclusion. Take a close look at this cartoon. Again, cause and effect don't have to be directly stated. It could be indirectly stated. Okay, this I'd like you to fill out yourself. I'm not going to spell it out for you. I like you to write down what is the if-then statement you associate with this cartoon. Then I like you to identify what would be considered the cause of the if-then statement and what would be considered the hypothesis, and then the effect of that if-then statement. Those two I like you to fill out on your own. I'll be checking for your ideas when I grade this paper. Pause, fill that out on your own. Welcome back. Let's go ahead and try some of these a little bit more math related. In the following 3 sentences, I'd like you to underline the hypothesis. Underline the hypothesis. Remember, that's the cause part. And I'd like you to box the conclusion. That's the effect part. Again, for the next 3 sentences, identify the cause and the conclusion. Pause the video and do that now. Welcome back. Let's take a look. If you finish your homework early, then you get to go to the movies. So finish your homework would be the cause. And the effect is you get to go to the movies. If you eat lots of vegetables, then you will be healthy. The cause, of course, is eat vegetables. then you will be healthy. That is the effect. Now careful, it seems like cause and effect is always cause first, then effect, but in our sentence structure, we can flip those. You may drive the family car when you get your license. So getting your license in this case was the cause. The effect, I told you to box the effect. The effect is you get to drive. Now that's called a conditional. There are 3 ways conditionals can be further modified. You can take a conditional statement and you can switch the order of the cause and effect. Or that's called the converse. Converse, switch. Converse, switch. Converse, switch. Think convert. Inverse, negate. Negate means to say the opposite of. Contrapositive, you switch and negate. I'll give you an example here. If it is sunny this weekend, so notice that's sunny, then we will go to the beach. So the key words here are sunny and beach. That's our original conditional. Our original conditional. The converse would be the switch of those. If we go to the beach, then it is sunny. You may need to play with the grammar just a little bit. So notice I switched the order of sunny and beach. Converse, you switch. Okay, inverse, you negate or you say the opposite using the original. So if it is not sunny, then we will not go to the beach. That's called the inverse. The contrapositive, you do both. You switch and negate. If we do not go to the beach, then it is not sunny. So converse, inverse, contrapositive. Ready? Go ahead and take this conditional statement. If you eat an apple, then you eat fruit. Write out its converse, inverse, and contrapositive. Converse, inverse, contrapositive. Do that yourself. Pause. Okay, welcome back. Let's see what you have here. Okay. So it says, if you eat an apple, then you eat a fruit. The converse, so our key words here are apple, and then fruit. So I'm going to shorten this up just a little bit. I'm going to say, if you eat fruit, then you ate an apple. I'm going to shorten the grammar up just so you can see the key words here. Then you've eaten an apple. That would be the converse. Notice the switch in colors. Okay. The inverse, you negate. You say the opposite of the original. So the original was apple, fruit. So not apple, not fruit. If you've not eaten an apple, then you've not eaten a fruit. Contrapositive is you switch and negate. So if you've not eaten fruit, then you've not eaten an apple. Okay, so just to take it down to the essentials. The original was apple, fruit. The converse should read fruit, apple. The inverse, not apple, not fruit. Contrapositive, not fruit, not apple. Now I'm going to introduce something called truth value. And that's where you analyze the logical truthfulness of the statement. For example, if this original statement, if you eat an apple, then you've eaten a fruit, that is a true statement. Why? Because all apples are fruit. So the original conditional is true. Let's look at the converse. If you've eaten fruit, then you've eaten an apple. It's really important. When I say things are true, it's true at all times with no exceptions. If there's an exception, then you have to say false. Okay, so if something's sometimes true, then it's false. For example, if you've eaten a fruit, then you're eating an apple, that could be only sometimes true because you could be eating grapes. So we have to say the converse in this situation is false. If you've not eaten an apple, then you've not eaten fruit. That's also only sometimes true because I could eat a banana. If I've not eaten a banana, I've not eaten fruit. That's going to be a false statement. Contrapositive. If I've not eaten fruit, then I've not eaten an apple. Now that one's true. Because since an apple is fruit, if I don't eat a piece of fruit, then I could not have eaten an apple. So this is a true statement. This is one of our logic laws. And the logic law is this. If the conditional is true, only the contrapositive is forced to be true. The other two are what are called maybes. Sometimes they're true, sometimes they're not. Okay, so if the conditional is true, only the contrapositive is forced to be true. The other two are only sometimes. So right here, again, if you eat an apple, then you've eaten fruit. That is a true statement. The one, if you eat fruit, then you've eaten an apple, that's only sometimes true. And because it's only sometimes true, we have to say false. Things are only true if they're always true. If you don't eat an apple, then you don't eat fruit. Again, that's only sometimes true. Therefore, we say it is false. Contrapositive. If you don't eat fruit, then you don't eat an apple. That is a true statement. So in this situation, only these two are true. If the original conditional is true, only the contrapositive is forced to be true. There is one exception, of course. If the conditional is true, only the contrapositive is forced to be true. Now, when a statement's conditional and, this should be changed, converse, are both true, then the statement is what called biconditional. You're going to see that on the next page. That word contrapositive should be converse. Cross it out. All right. In this statement, what I want you to do is take this original conditional. If you're in Paris, then you're in the country of France. That's the original conditional. Now, that is a true statement because Paris is in France. Okay? I like you to write both the converse, the inverse, and the contrapositive of the statement and check whether or not it is true or false. Pause the video. Welcome back. Let's check this. Your converse should read, if you're in France, then you are in Paris. Okay, that would be the converse. You switch the order. Let's do this. Okay, if you're not in Paris, then you're not in France. Okay, so the original said this. Let's boil it down to the original. The essentials. Paris, France. The converse should read France, Paris. The inverse. Not in Paris, not in France. The contrapositive, not in France, not in Paris. Let's take a look. The converse reads, if you're in France, then you're in Paris. That's a false statement. You could be in another city in Paris. You can be in Marseille. Okay, the inverse. If you're not in Paris, then you're not in France. That's also a false statement. I could be, again, in another city in France other than Paris. This last one, if you're not in France, then you're not in Paris. That's a true statement. You cannot be in the city of Paris if you're not physically in the country of France. So once again, the conditional was true, and only the contrapositive was forced to be true in this situation. Converse, inverse was only sometimes true. Therefore, we say it is false. Okay, students, take 2 minutes and just verbally recap what you have learned in this lesson. Just flip each page and take just a moment and tell yourself and redo the vocabulary so that you can have a better understanding. I suggest you simply go through this vocabulary box here, and if you recap what this vocabulary means, you'll have a very good review.